Hello friends, and welcome into another episode of Beyond Hiawatha. Not just any other episode though, because this is the first time that we have recorded the podcast outdoors on the deck at the sweet shop overlooking what I affectionately refer to as Lake Sharon. And we've got three staff members here with us today who are really excited to be on the podcast for a couple of reasons. One, they're getting out of work. They're cleaning up after, I think, 66 campers just departed. And it's the first time that we've been able to talk to all of you about what it's actually like with camp in full operation. We've been talking for a long time, several months, 20-something episodes leading up to moments like this, where young people have been at camp and have experienced the life-changing days of messages and games and fun and counselor talks and all of those aspects that many of you are familiar with. So, three staff members here. I'm going to let each of you introduce yourselves, and then we're going to talk legacy a little bit about your family involvement and what it's been like here. So, fire away.
Okay. I'm Haley. It's my third year on staff.
Got to give your last name, Haley.
Oh.
These people don't know you.
Okay. I'm Haley LAUTERWASSER. This is my third year on staff, and I'm head girls this year.
And from a family legacy standpoint,
Yes.
who else has served?
My grandparents have served on staff, as well as my mother.
So we're three generations
Yes.
deep. Do you want to share some names?
Patty and Lee Luckman and Rebecca Luckman as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Haley, glad you're here. Next up is our lifeguard.
I'm Brooke Hall. I'm the lifeguard for the summer. Super excited to be lifeguard first year in Allegan. It's my second year on staff, and I'm Haley's cousin, so both of our grandparents were on staff, met here, were married by Billy Sr., and then our parents were on staff together.
Yeah.
They were campers together first, or our moms were, and then they were both on staff together, and then now it's our cousins and I's turn to be campers together, and then we're staff together.
Yeah.
So cool. Yes, your turn.
Yeah, and then I'm Tommy SLOCUM, the athletic director. This is my 8th summer. I'm also third generation. My grandparents were both on staff, and then my parents met on staff. Uncles were on staff. Jonathan and Lindsay are my parents. Tom and Brenda are my grandparents. So, and then my Uncle Brian and Uncle Justin were also on staff. I've had my siblings are on staff too. So, yeah.
It's so cool to have generational succession happening. And even though you had grandparents and parents that were staff members, you didn't have to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, Haley, why'd you say, yeah, I'll give this a run. I'll give this a try.
I was a camper forever. I was a camper at Pyatt, and then I also camped 1 year at Bambi, and so I knew that I just wanted to be on staff, I think, ever since I was a camper. Just like seeing the community that staff was, and it was really cool, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it, and even hearing my grandparents' memories and experience on staff, I just knew I wanted that, and I wanted to at least try it out, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, it's for people who are not part of Hiawatha, it's hard to describe why it's so special.
Yeah,
It is.
Back in my days, I remember when I got back to school in the fall, like junior high and early high school, the only shirts I would ever wear said Hiawatha on them. So people are making fun of you. They're like calling you, oh, Mr. Hiawatha. And you're like, well, yeah, that's exactly right. They had no idea that I was hoping for that to be the case.
Yeah.
So when you, Brooke, when you leave here and you talk to people about what you did with your summer, what do you lead with? What are you telling them about Hiawatha?
I lead with, I'm a camp counselor at this camp in Michigan. I'm from Pennsylvania, so a lot of times people are like, why are you going all the way to Michigan for this camp there? And so then I get to explain, like, my grandparents met at this camp, and then my mom, and so it's a family tradition, but also, like, me and my siblings just have loved going to Hiawatha. And then I knew that as a camper, kind of what Haley said, like, you look up to the staff so much. You see their relationships with each other, see the ways that they enjoy hanging out with each other and get to serve the Lord, and just the joy that they have. And as a camper, you look up to them and want to be like them. And I think as I got older as a camper, I just realized more and more I want to be on staff. I want to serve. I want to be able to kind of give back to what camp has given me. And so I started being on staff last year and just absolutely changed my life, and came back this year.
Tommy, I don't know if you did have a choice.
Kinda. I mean, so when kind of the same story. I camped since I was, 8 years old, and kind of knew eventually. I actually took a year off of camping when I was 14. Camped again when I was 15, and kind of at that point made the decision, like, I'm going to come back on staff next year, and kind of just, a little bit of family pressure, but, it was my decision at the end of the day. And it was something where I feel like my life had changed so much just as a camper, and even hearing speakers that we still have speak, like Leo Robinson, and just knew I wanted to do it more, do it for the full year, or full summer, sorry. And yeah, just made that decision when I was 16 and been here ever since. So
Yeah, and I saw you a number of times during work weekends leading
Yes.
into the summer. But for all of you, there was the first time you drove onto this property. I don't know when it was for you, how much work had been done when you got here, or if you came here when it was completely raw and relatively untouched. I'd love to hear from you the conditions of the property when you got here and what your first reaction was, Haley.
Me and Brooke actually came for the first time together
Okay.
for a work weekend at the end of May. And it was pretty crazy to see even what the bunkhouse looked like and what all the other cabins looked like. Like,
Yeah.
none of them had flooring, none of the bathrooms weren't done. And it was just like, I was like, how are we going to get this done in time? And I think it was really cool to see just even that work weekend, a lot of the staff showed up, and we all really just got to work, and just like even doing stuff that we really didn't want to do, like just picking up sticks and things that seemed pointless at the time but made such a big difference as you just keep doing it. And then seeing, even when I got here to be here for staff, like the difference that it was in even just the month of June, that the difference that was made. And then just but it was, I was questioning if we were going to have camp or not, but seeing the way that the Lord pulled through and the way that everyone pulled through and volunteering was really, really cool.
You weren't the only one questioning
Yeah.
whether we were
Yeah.
going to have camp or
Yeah.
not. And for those of us
Yeah.
who had been here a few different weekends, you would work all day and get done and turn around and look at what was left and think, what did we just, was that all a dream? Did we not do anything?
Yeah.
Brooke, did you have doubts at first?
Yeah, there was definitely, when we pulled up, I remember Haley and I kind of giving each other a look of like, okay, all right, we're like, this is what we're doing, this is what we are. That work day for probably a solid 4 hours, we were down by the road using the wood chipper.
Yeah,
putting
isn't
all
that
these
chipper a
sticks.
wonderful experience?
It really is.
You still
Yeah.
can't hear right now.
No. And just like you said, like we had done all this work, and then as we're leaving, we're like, all right, what changed?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but and then to come back a couple weeks later and see the difference, like when we were here at the end of May, Juniper Ash didn't have bathrooms, didn't have any of that, and the walls weren't even up for the bathrooms,
Yeah.
and so we were like, okay, we have campers in a month, and
Yeah.
no bathrooms are up.
Yeah.
For me personally, on that work trip in May, I went down to the beach.
There wasn't much beach.
No,
No.
it was
Yeah.
like at least knee-high grass, like up all on the stand.
Yeah.
The water was just like lily pads, algae everywhere. It looked really rough.
Unusable.
So that is what I was worried about. And then someone told me that it would get worked on and then it would be ready when we come as staff for our staff week. And then we got here and it wasn't done. No change. And so, but seeing the work and the progress on that has been really cool and like really rewarding. I mean, if you go down to the beach now, it looks like a completely different place. And
Yeah.
seeing the campers swim in there and having no idea how much work was put into the beach, and just seeing them enjoy it, doing flips off of the trampoline and like racing to swim out there. And like, so it's been a lot of fun to see the campers enjoy the beach.
Well, you had these 100-degree days.
Oh my.
Can you imagine not having any waterfront activities, because
Yeah.
everybody would have just been baked
Yeah.
all the way through? I mean, it was hot enough as it was. And, and Tommy, as somebody who had seen the little bits of progress at a time, maybe you had an idea, we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
When I last was here for a work day, I left with still a lot of work to be done, including the backdrop of where you guys are on camera here. It looked like a disaster zone. Like every tree that ever fell was stacked up right behind us. And then I came back yesterday and they were all gone.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how mind-blowing it is to see the amount of work that all of the staff did for basically 2 weeks, because the first week of camp actually got bumped back to tacked onto the final week of the summer, allowing another week of work, which was needed. But I'd love to hear from, and Tommy, you can start, I'd love to hear from you guys, even though it was needed, was it hard to realize, oh, we got another week before kids come? Because you're doing this for the kids to be here, and then you have this delay, and you know it's another week of, here we go again. It's more wood chipping, it's more sweeping, it's more painting, it's more everything.
Yeah, I think the other funny thing about that week was I think it was the hottest week of the summer.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just one of those things where we just had to try to keep the spirits up, keep energy up, and just knowing like what the reason we're all here for, obviously, I feel like is the biggest thing that like keeps you going. Like you said, it was, you know, we had to move campers back a week, but then it's also just remembering like, hey, we have campers coming still, we're able to have camp. Throughout those weeks we were getting inspections done, and all of them, I believe for the most part, went well, and obviously we were able to have camp. Buildings were getting approved little by little, and
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. Auditorium gets approved, and you know we're able to go in there and have service in there finally, and it ended up being really good, and I think even is allowing for Leo's group to bring more numbers here at the end, because we moved it back, so kind of ended up working out well.
I sort of compare it to what we hear from NFL training camps, where after a couple of weeks they start having brawls within offense and defense because they've only been hitting each other and are ready for some actual competition. So just between the four of us, with nobody else knowing. Any brawls? Everybody getting along okay during these hottest days of 2 weeks of work? It was getting old after a while.
Yeah, I do think that honestly having the extra week like bonded the staff even more.
For
Like
sure.
us just being in the heat together, working on the grounds, like raking for hours, like leaf blowing, anything. Like I think it just like made us work together even better when campers were here. Especially I think we have like 5 or 6 rookies this year, and so
They wondered what they signed up for.
being
They did.
so even being able to connect with like the new people on staff was really cool, and even just seeing how close like people who maybe weren't close last year on staff, seeing how close they've gotten. But I really do think that extra week was like really great for the staff. Yeah.
I'll give you an old man story. So we're preparing for camp many years ago in the Upper Peninsula. And the assignment one day for all of the guys was to go behind the guys' cabins and rake the leaves in the forest. And we're a ways into this work. I don't know if it's an hour or two. It felt like we were a day into it, but we were probably an hour into it. And one guy, his name was Eric Robinson, he says, everybody stop for a minute. Just stop for a minute. Do you realize that we are being asked to rake the Hiawatha National Forest and take the leaves deeper into the forest? And we're like, we just all froze like, yeah, and I guess on a global scale, this does not make any sense at all. So my question for you guys is, as you're doing all this work, were you able to see the big picture, like the purpose for it and why? Because after a couple of weeks, it can become kind of a, why am I doing this? What's going on? Were you able to keep the big picture in the right place?
I think so, for sure. And like little by little, the work that we're doing compounds on each other, and you're able to see, oh, the beach is cleaning up.
See progress.
Yeah, exactly. And the progress is like a reward in its own, and seeing the just the way it's improving. And then for when campers were finally able to come on the grounds, and for junior week, and just the joy that they brought, and just the way that the spirit was moving the first week was just so rewarding, and just everything that I think the staff needed to just remind them like we're doing the right thing.
That energy hits hard, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
When the juniors come rolling in, I remember asking a young man from my church who had attended camp in the Upper Peninsula and then had attended in Roscommon. And he was here a couple weeks ago. But I had said to him, are you ready to go to another new place? And he said, you have trees? Yeah. Got some water? Yeah. All right. I mean, that's from a camper standpoint, most of them aren't behind the wheel of a car. They don't know where they're going anyway. Somebody's driving them over. So when you get to see them, I know it's not one big bus load, but when you get to see the individual arrivals and the big welcome moment,
Yeah.
what does that do for your heart?
I think it just like really like helps me realize that all the work paid off. Like when we're able to put campers in cabins and we're able to like see them all be in there and like have a bunch of fun. The bunkhouse was like absolutely full of all these girls who were just so excited to be at camp. And it was really, really, really cool to see. And just like it makes you realize that all your hard work paid off. And I know like even people who have been part of this conversation since the beginning and like walked on these grounds for their first time and we're a part of everything that happened like 11 months ago. Like I know that it was probably even better for them. And so, but yeah, it was really cool.
It's been a while since I've experienced the joy of working with campers. Now, junior campers, I'm not sure I'd apply the word joy to that, but to have that surge of adrenaline that comes in after all the work that's been done, what was it like for you, Tommy?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, some of the energy levels are almost down, but then as soon as those campers hit the grounds, and, you know, I got the privilege of being out on the road, so I was just like the first one seeing them.
Like
and
guiding them in?
Yeah, and I think one of the first like cool things for me too is just seeing all the returning campers we had also this summer that have, like you said about the one, been at multiple different locations and just stuck through it. And even, you know, the past weeks we've had a lot of campers from the UP still and good groups from there. And I think that's just really encouraging to see that, you know, even though we might even move further from them, that they were impacted so much that they would want to come back. And like you said, just if there's trees and a beach and the staff and the Lord, like we're just going to keep, like it doesn't matter where it is, you know. So.
Yeah, I don't know when you're in it, when you're on staff. I don't know if you realize the impact that a staff member has in the life of a camper. Maybe it's until you get a little bit further down the road and you hear people talk about something that their counselor shared with them 13 years prior, that kind of thing. As you're in it and you're developing these bonds, especially if you're down by the waterfront. I saw you yesterday having a counselor talk while on the dock with somebody. So you're working these dual roles, Brooke. Man, that's just... what a powerful ministry opportunity that is.
It really is. And it's just, you really don't realize the influence you have until you have those campers come back. And like, I had a camper this week and she remembered a bunch of things that I had said to her last year. And like, I didn't really remember saying those things to her. We had obviously had those conversations. I remembered hanging out with her and stuff, but you don't realize the impact that you have. And so I think that in itself makes us want to do better every single day, seek out those intentional moments. And so whether it's down at the beach or in the dining hall or in the auditorium, just those little conversations that you can have, like knowing that it does make an impact no matter what way the Lord will use it, like gives us motivation to be that 1% better, that 1% just doing better for the campers. And so it's just really cool to get to serve here and just see the way that the Lord moves through the staff and uses us to help the campers.
The setting that we're in just for this conversation, people may think, especially audio-only listeners, may think that we're piping in bird sounds.
No.
This is what's happening on a perfectly calm Saturday morning as we sit outside to record. Can you kind of take some of our audience inside how this campus feels to you? Like for me, it feels very similar to being in the Upper Peninsula. This is such a beautiful place. I mean, just raw sunset beauty on the beach kind of a thing. What's it like for people who haven't yet been here?
It's like feels very like camp. Like I think it feels like just like homey in a way. Like I don't know, I felt like when I first got here, it just immediately was like, yeah, this is home. Like this just feels like it's so beautiful, all the trees, and even the way everything's just set up, like it's just everything, like this porch and the fact that it overlooks the water and like it's crazy. Like it just feels amazing. Yeah,
you guys settled right in.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's been a little crazy, like just seeing everything come to, like even we mentioned it, like just the cabins coming together and it's like we have cabins that just feel awesome and like brand new, and you know, all the work that's been done, it's made a lot of the facilities really, really nice, which has been awesome. And even just the work we've done, obviously, like to the beach and you know, we have sand now and it's not grass like we were saying
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
And just
Actually.
seeing, you know, even throughout the summer, just some of the grounds come together. You know, at the start of the summer, we didn't have a softball field. We had to go play at a park. And now it's like we have a softball field and it's fun and it's great. And
Wait,
just-
you went to play at a park?
yes.
Where?
10 minutes away.
I did
from
not
Allegan.
know
The
this.
staff all like piled in the cars. And
Yep.
we went to go
For
play
like, oh, during staff
for marathon.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
staff all
Yeah.
piled in the cars and went to go play marathon at a park because we didn't have a field.
Yeah.
So this is where I wish that the podcast was fully produced with all the video clips and B-roll, because
Yeah.
right now there's, and it could be, but it takes a lot of time. Right now, out behind the house on the property where 1 million people are staying, there's this big meadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during the work days, the meadow was not usable by anything except for bonfires of big trees that
Yeah.
had been brought out there. And as I pull in yesterday, there's a full basketball
Yep.
court that's been poured and it looks fantastic. And then
Yep.
there's the softball field that's kind
Yeah.
of been configured in a way that the distances to the trees are
We-
spot on,
It's-
right?
Yeah, it's spot on. We measured it with one of the little roller tape measures.
Oh, you
and
did?
Blaine knew the distances from Pyatt and got it the exact same. So the home runs are the same. So the numbers aren't skewed in any way. And
Yeah.
Oh, no asterisks in the
No.
record books.
Mm-mm,
This is
no.
very, very important.
yes, it is very important.
And you know, it's
so.
funny. I was trying to tell Craig and some of the others. I said, "Listen, we have 1 million things to work on here at this new property. The last thing any camper cares about whatsoever is softball." And he said, "You don't understand."
Yeah.
I said, "Our staff does, and
Yeah.
our campers want to play marathon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they may not care as much about traditional, but they want to play marathon, and
Yeah.
it's kind of been that way this summer, hasn't it?"
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even I have a younger cousin who's been a camper for a long time, and he was texting me. He camped this past week, and he's texting me like, "Hey, we're playing softball, right? Like, there's a field, right?" And
Yeah.
you know, I think a lot of them love those kind of traditions and just being able to do activities or events that they don't get to do,
Yeah.
like at school or gym class or anything like that. So
Well, we've talked for about 22 minutes about the physical property.
Yeah.
Love to talk about the ministry side of it. And I don't want you to obviously use any names of kids who you've interacted with, but I would love to hear some of the stories of those moments where the Lord has powerfully moved, whether it's through you or just through a testimony that you heard with another staff member and a camper, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's been killing me to not be here much this summer. It's like literally the only time I'll be here. And then last night, to me, felt like a good old Friday night.
Yeah.
It was.
Leo Robinson preaching.
Yeah.
There weren't very many empty seats in our brand new worship center. We put up extra rows in the back because we had a number of adult visitors and things. I mean, it just felt so familiar. I sat back there in tears.
Yeah.
I needed that
Yeah.
because for all of the planning and all of the praying, and frankly, all the frustration as a board member, and just those things where, as Leo said last night, some of you were questioning whether this would ever happen again. To see it happen was just mind-blowing. But you guys have been living it. And the title of this episode is, What Was It Like? Because this is going to be shared with everybody when the season kind of officially ends in a few days. What was it like? What are some of the stories of God moving and the blessings that you will remember forever as being the first ever staff in Allegan?
Yeah.
What pops to your mind?
I think it was really cool to see the campers' reactions to the campgrounds, and like I even had a counselor talk this week, and one of the campers was like, "I love it here. Like I just love this." Like we literally were sitting right here on this porch, and she was like, "I think it doesn't matter where Hiawatha is. Like Hiawatha is the people. Hiawatha is who's here." And she was like, even with like everyone, like with the campground moving, like she was scared that some staff wouldn't come back, and we had a lot of staff come back this year, and she was like, it was really cool to walk on the grounds and like see you guys all still here, see you guys all still super excited. And I think there's no AC in a lot of the buildings, so we were all really nervous about what campers were going to say and stuff, and like just realizing that like the campers didn't care, like they were just glad that they were here. And Yeah, and I think the Lord has just been like so kind, even the staff, like the staff has been in very good health even this summer, and just being able to show up for them. Tuesday nights have been so powerful. Our first teen week, which technically was teen week 2, every single camper went up to the altar on
That's
Tuesday night.
unbelievable. Yeah.
And like even Craig and Billy had said that they've never seen something like that before, of every single camper, like without hesitation, going up.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to see just the way the Lord moved and spoke to all of those campers.
Mm.
And to add on to that, on that Tuesday night when all the campers had gone up, every single one without hesitation, all went up like feeling the Lord move. The feeling of looking around all the staff, just being in awe of the
Yeah.
Lord, looking at each other,
Yeah.
being like, is this really happening? And just
Yeah.
being able to witness that and being able to like feel the presence of the Lord in the room. And
Yeah.
like, if like that's our sign, like we're supposed to be here, like the Lord is here, the Lord's with us. Like it was truly like, I think it brought almost every single one of us to tears and
Yeah.
just seeing the way the Lord was moving.
Yeah, the Lord has chosen to honor Tuesday nights throughout the history
Yeah.
of Hiawatha.
Yeah.
And we don't take it for granted, for sure. There's a lot of prayer cover that goes into that. But it's indescribable. Billy Sr. used to say that you can accomplish more in the life of a young person in 1 week of camp than in 52 weeks of Sunday school.
Yeah.
Well, now that most churches don't really have Sunday school anymore, it's even more vital that we have these camp experiences, and that Tuesday night moment is so important. It's the moment that so many kids will point back to 30 and 40 years from now is when their life changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tommy, some of your spiritual highlights this
Yeah,
season.
I think definitely the Tuesday night, that first one was definitely, it felt like, okay, we're back kind of a thing. I would say another one, just even before the summer started, the second we got the auditorium inspected and improved, as the staff, we went in there and basically just prayed over the building.
Wow.
And also just wrote verses on the wall of the stage.
Oh, really?
Yes, and the funny thing is it was supposed to be carpeted over, and something happened with that where they couldn't carpet it over, but I think that's just been a cool thing. Even just seeing like at the altar, like just all these verses just written all over it that didn't get carpeted, like on those moments like Tuesday night. And I would say also just some of the most encouraging things for me has just been the conversations with cabins, like after a Thursday night service even. Kind of had a very good service this year, just about what Jesus did for us, going into depth of the like what he did for us on the cross, and some of the physical toll he took on his body, like talking about the nails and the spear that was sent through him. And just, I think, like just hearing the campers talk about that message in our little group setting that we do after was something that's really been moving for me, and just even for myself, just thinking about like how, like what he did, like what Jesus did for us, and just the reminder of that on Thursday nights has been something that's really been cool for me. So.
We of course think about camp in terms of its impact on the young people who come to be with us for a week, but obviously it has an impact on all of us as staff members. And as you get to hear some of the messages a couple of times, but then you hear from different speakers, I remember a couple of things. One, how brutally awful it is to leave camp and go back to real life.
Yeah.
It's just such a different switch to flip. I remember leaving when I was like a rookie or maybe second year on staff. I remember leaving camp for the first time and stopping in Gaylord to get gas on the way home and hearing people swear. I hadn't heard that in like 6 weeks.
Right.
Right? It's just those kinds of things where, like, how could you do that? And they don't have any idea what's going on.
Yeah.
As you guys think about this season and at some point head back into real life, what do you take with you, and what do you think will be your biggest blessing and maybe challenge to get back into real life? I try to remind people that because you serve on staff doesn't mean that you're perfect and forever free from any temptation. So what's your biggest blessing, and then what do you want people to pray for on your behalf moving forward?
I think for me, honestly, the hardest part about leaving camp is leaving the staff.
Yeah.
We all get so close over the summer, and like you hang out with them every single day for 6 weeks straight, and we're just like a family, and so it's like really hard. And I go to school out in Arizona, and I live in Chicago, so I really don't see most of the staff throughout the year. Like there's some staff that I will only see at camp, and that's hard, and it is really hard, like leaving people that have been so like there for you the whole summer, because obviously being at camp can be physically and spiritually draining. And so when you have the staff that constantly lift you up, and then when you're in those times when you're not at camp and you don't have those people, it can be really, really hard. So yeah, that's probably the hardest part about leaving, and they're probably my biggest blessing too.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have schools closer, I don't know.
Yeah. I know.
How about for you, Brooke?
Very similar to Haley, just the community that you experience here, not only with the staff, but also with the campers too. Like in a way, they pour back to you. And even though, you know, like just their energy and just this change that you see in them is so like rewarding and is so like refreshing to see that. And so just the community that you experience here with the other staff and everyone pouring into each other is definitely something that is like I never take for granted. And then I think going home, for me personally, I just need to continue to pursue more and more of a community at home that is like similar to Hiawatha. I mean, nothing's the same as Hiawatha, but just a community that is pouring back into me the way that Hiawatha does. And so, I mean, with just how unique and how special Hiawatha is, nothing will do it the way that we do at Hiawatha, but just finding a community at home and just more people to kind of pour back into me. But my biggest blessing for sure is just the community here, just having people that love the Lord and everyone gets along. Like, it's just such a blessing.
Yeah. It's pretty rare these days to
Absolutely.
find anything close to that. So how about for you?
I definitely agree with both of them, and I think, you know, the other thing that's been such a blessing is just seeing how the Lord has moved this summer. Just, you know, going over in staff meeting and like seeing, you know, raising our hands and saying how many kids have been saved throughout a week, and just stuff like that is such a blessing. And obviously it's the reason, you know, why we're here. And I think just for me personally, I think the hardest thing is when you're at camp, it's so easy just to feel like you're so close to God. And then once it's, you know, I think the prayer for me personally would be like, pray for when it hits December and it's been 5 months since camp, and it's like to remember all these moments and remember, you know, the things that we've heard during a message. And I think that goes for a lot of the staff. It's kind of that, they call it like the spiritual high right after camp, and then it's like goes up, and then you're like, but that needs to keep going up. And I think just prayer for that would be what I would say. So
Not only for us, but for the campers too, for sure. Just that what they experience here at camp stays with them, the messages stay with them. And I know that's something that like we've been pressing in our cabin, that like what you experience here, the Lord and the presence that you experience here goes home with you. It's not just, it doesn't just stay here. The lessons that you learn, the conversations you had, like those are used as momentum to help you follow the Lord, follow Jesus, and just what he calls you to be, what he calls you to do.
How many of you stay in touch with your campers off season?
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll reach out and they'll be like, well, I have a basketball tournament today, like, can you pray for it, or something like that. But they'll reach out like every so often, and we'll reach back. And then especially as camp gets closer, we'll like text them and be like, you guys coming to camp this year? We're excited to see you guys. But yeah.
So there are a lot actually of people that none of the three of you have ever met who have been a part of supporting Hiawatha for a very long time. Some of them are on our board. Some of them are just faithful supporters who have been on this journey with us, this nomadic journey. You know, we are home at last, but we weren't for a while, and but they've stuck with it. And one of the things that Leo Robinson said in his message Friday night was, the Lord went to Allegan and we followed. And I think that we have said on occasion, we believe the Lord is leading us there, but we're going there. The way he said it was so powerful, like the Lord's presence came here and it was up to us to follow. It wasn't up to him to follow. But there was so much support from this body of prayer warriors, financial generosity, work weekend. We saw people out here working who were part of the camp that was here, Cascatowa. These are the people that gave us this property. And then they came and worked, and some of them are on staff, and they've been a part of all of this. I would just love to have the three of you take a moment and just talk to those people, the supporters, about what it has meant to go through this journey and be here at the end of season 1 in Hiawatha 2.0, 3.0. I don't know what
Right.
iteration this is.
Yeah.
Right.
But what has it meant to each of you, and what do you want them to hear from you?
I think as a staff, like, we are so grateful because as much as there's 25 of us, we could not do this by ourselves, and that has been shown through even all the work weekends and just the ways that people have shown up. And we're like extremely, extremely grateful for even the people who donated cleaning supplies. Like, you wouldn't really think about that, but like, we need to clean our cabins and we need to keep things clean. And so even people who have donated like little things like that, like those make such a big difference. And we like couldn't have done it without all the support that we've had throughout the last year. And even the people that were supporting us when we weren't here yet and we didn't even know that this was coming, they still were so prayerful and generous. And we are so grateful for just even the way the Lord's provided and the way the Lord has provided the people who have helped Hiawatha.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Brooke?
That was beautifully said.
Ditto.
Yeah, no, actually, just exactly like Haley said, like, yes, we are all here to help, but like, you said that perfectly, like, we couldn't do this by ourselves, and just the people that were praying for us before we even started, the people that were praying for the staff before we even knew that we were going to be on staff, like, just all the preparation that it takes just really shows that the Lord's hand is in everything, every little detail. Like, the Lord is there. He's planning out all of it for the good of his people and for the good, for the glory of him. And just so seeing all the little ties to each other and the way that everything's worked out so beautifully for everything to just fall exactly into place, and for it just is cool to see the way that the Lord has worked through his people. So thank you for everyone that's prayed for us, donated little stuff, came out, helped on work days, anything, the smallest things to the biggest things, like every little thing is truly like so appreciated deeply by the staff and just by the family that Hiawatha is as a whole. The people, every single person that's been involved in Hiawatha, like, has all led us up to this point, and just being able to continue to have camp. So we just thank you so much.
So cool.
Yeah, I think back even to, I was here for a work weekend, and me and you made a video just asking for support, like, and the auditorium was barely, I think it was just frame at that point, and it's like everything.
There were Amish guys climbing on the rafters.
Yeah.
That's who built it.
No way.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
funny.
just seeing, like, just how even in a few weeks, like, obviously more donations came in, and like we were able to pull everything off. And I think they said everything well, but like, obviously thanking everyone for donating or anything like that, praying obviously too. And like we've kind of been mentioning, it's been a great summer. So I would say like all of it was worth it, if you will. Kids were saved, kids grew in their relationships with Jesus. Even last night we had a fireside service, and just hearing them go up and talk about, all the different things they've learned, the decision they've made on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It really just makes all of those donations and everything, all the help, all the prayer, like, kind of brings it all back full circle to where we're seeing how that played out with the campers and everything.
You've had 100-degree days. You've had smoke like crazy from our,
Yeah. Oh
from
my
our
gosh.
friends in Canada.
Yeah.
You probably had a couple mice here or there somewhere along the way.
Yep. And Noah.
But the stories I want to hear as we close are your favorite Tommy SLOCUM stories.
Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Favorite ones. All right, give me a second.
You got to have some good. And I'll give you a little latitude, because if you don't have one that pops to mind immediately regarding Tommy, you can always go to Blaine and give me a good Blaine story.
Okay.
But yeah, what do you got?
Ooh. I mean, there's always cowbell.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, give us a little cowbell. Take us inside. I know.
So we do this thing called Wednesday Night Live, which is basically SNL,
Yep.
but we do it on Wednesday. And they do a Back Cabin Boys skit, and Tommy comes in the middle of it with a cowbell.
Is he doing Will Ferrell role? Is the sweater too tight and all the other stuff?
They don't even let me wear a sweater.
Okay, good. We have,
Just
we have
yeah.
standards still.
Well, no, just a too tight tank top, which
Yeah.
was probably
Yes.
worse. So
Yeah, but the campers love it and they think it's hilarious, and so it's always fun to see them during that skit and just like how happy they are, and yeah, so
It's a hard thing to get young people to laugh.
yeah.
So if you can do it, it's
Tough
pretty,
crowd these days.
pretty cool. Yeah, exactly. What do you got, Brooke?
The first thing that popped in my head, you're gonna hate me for saying this.
That's exactly what we want to hear.
We do this game show thing, and he always comes with this sushi, like what is it called?
Costume.
Like costume
Yeah.
type thing, and so he's sushi, and he comes in and he has this accent. He's like, I don't know where Tommy is. Like, I'm not Tommy, and all the campers love it. And
Yeah.
so I just think the way that Tommy goes above and beyond for the campers, even as much as he has going on his plate, and just seeing the way that the campers absolutely love him,
Yeah.
no matter what it is, or like when they're all talking, he's trying to get their attention, and just the way he's just this, like, yeah,
thank
definitely
you, guys.
sushi. Yeah.
Do you have a
He does a
future
great
in
job.
improv comedy? Are you going
oh
to
boy,
head
I
to
don't-
Second City and then to SNL?
I don't know about that, but I try to do my best, and like I said, it's for the campers. So even
Yeah.
if I don't want to do it, it's like remember why we're here, and yeah.
Well, thank you all for doing this, and
Thank you.
man, you're a representation of an awesome staff, and as I said, you literally will have the, I don't know, bragging rights isn't really the right word, but you'll have this this knowledge and this bond together that you were the first ever staff
Yeah.
at the all new permanent home of Hiawatha Youth Camp, and even saying that kind of blows my mind
Yeah.
It
as
does,
somebody
yeah.
who's been there through all of the iterations. So thanks for sharing and for serving.
Yeah.
Yeah.